Right, hello and welcome to another interview. This week we have Earth2Explorer, a full-time Earth2 player. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your Earth2 story so far?
Sure. So my name on the Earth2 platform is Earth2Explorer4Life. I've been at it since, I guess, December 28th. I got in pretty early and I've been loving it ever since. Love the community, love the platform. It's been quite an exciting journey.
December 20th is super early as well. I'm very jealous of that, to be honest. How did
Yeah,
you discover it? Was that a Facebook ad or?
So it was actually through just a friend, Jason Webb.
Okay.
He started posting on his Instagram just about this Earth2, and I seen it 2 or 3 times that he posted, and finally I had to check into it. And yeah, I loved what I seen. I loved the concept. I loved the idea of like getting early into the metaverse. So yeah, I owe him a great debt of gratitude. If I ever become a millionaire or something, I owe him something big.
Get him a pint.
Right.
Yeah,
something.
Wow, up to. So you're a full-time Earth2 player. How did that come about, and what gave you the confidence in Earth2 to do that?
Okay, so I think I have to kind of define this a little bit. I'm full-time Earth2, but I'm not, I'll say, making a living wage off Earth2.
Yeah.
That's not quite there yet. So what happened is I had the opportunity to sell my house about 1.5 years ago, and I took that opportunity and took about, I'll say, half that profit and started putting it into Earth2. At that time, I had enough money set aside that I could actually leave my job. I was working aerospace, so with the whole COVID thing and the loss of work, I was looking for something new anyways, and Earth2 just kind of fell in my lap. It was kind of just by chance. Yeah, kind of went from there.
I remember kind of when I first bumped into you in the community as well, it seemed like a good place for you at the time as well, after what you were going through with your job and stuff as well. So it seems to have done you some good in the same way it did me. So.
Well, even mentally, like that's been my biggest gain from Earth2 was actually just hope for the future. I was kind of in a low point in my life when I found Earth2. I'd gone through some depression and I'd lost my job. So it gave me something to put my time into. It gave me something to hope for. And it's just continued to grow from there. Every day I have more hope for the future. And yeah, I love where we're headed.
That's exactly what it was for me as well. I mean, it was a distraction from the world outside. I wasn't in a good place as well. Like if you look back on even my first videos on YouTube and stuff as well, I literally look a right state. Like I didn't realize quite how bad it was until I look back on them now and stuff and think, yeah, you were quite bad. So yeah, you're not the only one that's done some good too. And I think a lot of us were kind of at home stuck in bad situations and stuff. But yeah, the community in Earth2 has been really good for that. But let's get on to something else. We're digressing a bit there.
Yes, exactly.
So as a full-time Earth2 player, can you walk us through your day? What is an average day for yourself? Do you do like kind of full office hours, or do you just do a bit here and there? What do you do on a daily basis?
So it's kind of, I just pick through. I don't really set hours per se.
Yeah.
In the morning, of course, collect your essence. And usually what I'm doing lately is checking jewel prices. So going through every level of jewel, every category, and just picking out basically the cheapies. That's been my go-to for maybe like basically since jewels released. I was always hunting for deals in jewels. Other than that, it's mostly socializing, like trying to actually grow just my social circle on the platform and meet new users. That's kind of my favorite part anyways. I love meeting the people. Everyone I meet has been just wonderful. So yeah, that's my favorite part.
It's what Shane emphasized a lot as well. Anyway, community work and together and stuff. So I think kind of a lot of people do neglect that side of things, but yeah, it is good to have those connections there, because when we start getting our cities in place and wanting to do trade deals and stuff like that, we are going to go to the people that we know well.
Exactly.
Right. So this touches on what you've just been talking about, actually. I know you've been putting a fair chunk of your balance into jewels. Do you want to take us over that, over your thoughts and feelings on jewels and why you're doing that? What is it about jewels that appeals to you?
So basically what I did, I took Shane's early advice of what would be things that would grow in income. So I remember right from the very get-go, as soon as jewels were released, he said, this would be a growing asset that eventually will keep growing in value.
Okay.
So I took that knowledge and I ran with it. So initially, I think I was only getting maybe 12 jewels a day, and I decided I'd buy a single tile farm because I really wanted to emphasize jewel production. So I bought 2,300 single tiles.
Okay.
Absolutely destroyed my hands in the process, gave myself carpal tunnel.
Is that all T1 as well?
Yeah, exactly. It was actually, it happened. I bought about, I think all 2,300 I bought the week before tier 2 dropped, just by fate. Yeah. And it was the same thing with jewels. So my first big buy in jewels for T1s came, I think, 3 days before T2 released. I bought 10,000 tier 1 jewels.
Yeah. And
then I did the exact same thing just by chance. About a week before tier 3 jewels dropped, I bought another 10,000 tier 1s. And I was basically going by Shane's silence on social media. Every time he seems to go quiet, I was like, okay, they must be planning something. So I'd usually throw money into either jewels or properties. And for some reason, I just happened to hit the right timing. Whenever he goes radio silent, that seems to be the time to buy.
Yeah, just kind of reading between the lines. I think you do get a sense of that when you spend so much time within it. You do get a sense for what's to come and stuff. I get you on that. Yeah.
And I'm feeling that right now, actually.
I also know
that he's quiet.
He has been purely as well, though, so it could just be down to that because he was meant to be in London at the minute, wasn't he?
That's right. Yeah, last trip.
Yeah. But actually, while we're still on duels, I've noticed in the updates that they announced, it might have been yesterday or the day before, that they've fixed the percentage that they're taking. Have you noticed any difference in the trading price since that's happened or not?
So it seems like the fees have actually gone down a little bit. I noticed most jewels have dropped maybe to 1 cent for your tier 1s. And across the board, I seem to notice like a cheaper fee, which is probably good for buyers, but I'm not sure, does that actually come out of the seller's pocket?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't really done much buying and selling. I don't really know. I just saw that they were going to start basing it on the average sale price rather than the average listing price. It was a bit strange basing it on listing price anyway, to be honest.
Yeah. So that actually worked out well for my favor. There's a point where I was trying to buy jewels in bulk and I actually was able to approach a person individually, and he knew a way to actually get the sales fee down. Okay. So he was able to manipulate the sales fee so that he could sell them to me for cheaper.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's little tips of the trade.
You might have to send me that after we've finished here then. A little bit of an exploit, although it might be gone after they've made this update.
I'm assuming, it's probably gone now.
Right, so where are we up to? I've seen you big into drone. Do you think that's the play type that is going to fit you best once Earth 2 fully comes, or are you just going to kind of do a bit of everything?
I think I'm going to touch everything, but my specialty is definitely going to be dueling and drone. Drone was such a random thing that happened out of nowhere. It's like, I'm such a horrible gamer. I can't put into words how bad at gaming I am. Like, so to actually be not just proficient, but actually like in a close to like world leading class in this game it's still hard to fathom for me.
I saw you posting your leaderboard moments and stuff. You do seem to be doing well from it. How many people are active in there now?
So it's not that active of a game yet. I'd say through a day you might see 40 or 50 users.
Okay, that's not as bad as I expected, to be honest. I was thinking it would be less than that. That's not too bad though. Yeah.
No, that's all right. Yeah, we're starting to come around. I think actually in the next 6 months, I expect that to go through the roof.
What do you think?
Drone goes live.
Yeah, I was just about to say, do you think the drone will go live in the next 6 months? Do you think we're getting the launch this year?
So I think we're going to see at least flying gameplay before the anniversary in November. Shane did drop hints that he really wanted the next egg hunt to be on the platform and actually in a 3D world. So I'm expecting us to be flying by November.
That could just be eco sim though, rather than drone
actual
stuff.
Fighting.
That's true. We'll see though. I guess we're all just guessing at this point, aren't we? Because we don't even have the proper white paper yet. Right. If you could give just one bit of advice to new Earth 2 players, what would you give them?
This one's pretty good. I actually wrote a couple thoughts down on this one.
Yeah.
The biggest one for me is don't buy your local town.
I did that.
Every single person seems like to buy their biggest spot, but no one's ever going to, if you're in a small town, no one's ever going to see these really. And that was my biggest mistake. I probably spent close to $1,000 in just my local town. And then I realized I'm in a tiny unknown town. What is that going to do to me?
Is there no resources in your local town or anything?
Nothing yet. No. The only thing is they are Canadian tiles, so at least they should hold some value.
Yeah,
at least they're not just in random countries.
Mine UK as well. Like, I haven't got any resources on them yet, but it is in quite, if we do get augmented reality, it's in quite a busy area of town. I've bought the full seafront. As soon as tier 2 dropped, I just flexed it. I was like, it's my favorite spot in the world. I'm owning that. And so I just went and got it.
That's amazing. Like, it's amazing thought to be able to buy your favorite locations.
Yeah,
I love this thought.
Every time I go there, if I'm with a friend or my girlfriend or anything, I'm just like, I own this in Earth2, you know. It's just point out all the different buildings. There's a lot of stuff there. There's like a few different businesses. I'm like, own that in Earth2, own that in Earth2. And I know it's not real, but it is still kind of cool to be able to see it.
Well, it's funny, like when I was in Toronto, I went to Toronto last week, and there's probably 5 or 6 locations. I was with my girlfriend, like, hey, I own that.
Yeah.
And even like the airport that I flew out, I was like, yeah, I own this airport.
It is cool. If Earth2 really takes off, we'll definitely see more people doing that as well. But I think it's kind of like I work a trade in Earth1 as well. And when I'm driving around with my little one, even now I go like, I've worked on that house and I've worked on that house and stuff. So I think it's kind of similar to that as well. It's just things we're passionate about and a part of our daily lives. And we're just trying to let our loved ones know that we care about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'm trying to think. There was actually a few other ones I had. Trying to think tips. So my other
it's only one tip, you know, like, give
only one.
Yeah.
Oh,
if you could give one bit of advice to Earth2 players, yeah, that's one I give to everybody who comes on. That's one standard question I'll give to everybody. So that it's usually your most important bit of advice. So sorry for cutting you off there, but it is just one.
That's probably the best one anyways.
Okay, good. So the next bit is, in 2 years' time, where do you see Earth2 and yourself within Earth2? 2 years'
That's
time.
That's a great question. So I see us being, I'll say, the counter to Facebook's Meta. I think we're going to be sort of the David versus Goliath in that battle, because obviously they have the resources, they have the people, but I think we have the community. And I think that actually gives us the advantage, because I think our community will stay together, where Facebook will be bickering and everything else. And Facebook has their way of just advertising the heck out of everything, where I hope Earth2 is more like user oriented instead of advertiser oriented.
Well, we're getting our DAO and stuff anyway, aren't we? I can't see Meta getting a DAO, so yeah, it is going to be kind of up to us to do it. And you've got all the youngsters busy kind of leaving Facebook for the platforms and stuff anyway. So unless they can kind of pull them back with the new rebrand of Meta, then that's kind of the key audience gone anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Yeah. So I truly see us being like, we'll be a standout, I think, in the metaverse space. I think across the crypto space, I think we'll be a beacon of hope, especially in this crypto winter that we're seeing right now. I think we'll actually be a beacon that people will turn to. I'm hoping anyways.
As long as they don't come across all the kind of the bad videos about us on YouTube and it puts them off. I've had that with a couple of guests, you know, when I've been asking people to come on that aren't from the Earth2 community, but they're from the games industry and stuff. They've saw the negative press and they've decided they don't want the names associated with it and stuff. So kind of it is going to be a balancing act of them seeing that and them seeing the potential in Earth2 as well.
But you can definitely see the haters are starting to disappear. That's been one of my biggest shocks, is how many people are starting to turn the flip. Like, they're actually starting to maybe not promote Earth2, but they at least stopped calling it a scam.
Yeah, be less critical of it. It's because we're getting gameplay shown out there now, like the EcoSim videos and stuff that they're getting. They asked for proof of it, and Shane has literally done exactly that. He's put the proof out to them. So they called him out, he presented it, and there's not really anything you can see after that, is there?
Yeah, exactly. He proved his point. It's like, we have something real here.
Yeah, exactly. Fingers crossed it's not too long before we can actually start building. Right, question 7. Are you involved in any other Web3 projects, or are you 100% on Earth2?
I'd say I'm pretty well 100% Earth2. I just don't see any other projects having the success that we can have.
Yep.
They're just not nearly organized. I don't think they have teams. Yeah, it's just, I don't have faith in any other projects besides Earth2. I looked into Axie Infinity when I was first getting started, and I love the concept, but I realized they're really limited financially. Yep. So this is where I see Earth2 is going to do really well, is since we'll actually have our own crypto coin, I essentially see us being not like another Bitcoin, but will be, I think, a standout in the crypto space. I think our coin will actually be one of the top in the gaming space for sure. So,
Axie do actually have their own cryptocurrency as well. Like,
right.
but you probably did good not getting involved in that because it did kind of crash a bit. But I bought in maybe 2-3 months back now or something when Axies were down to, I think they were about $20 each or something like that,
okay.
as opposed to about $1,000 each when I first looked at it. I was like, now's the time I can get in for a team for less than $100. But I got bored of playing, to be honest. It's really, really repetitive. You're literally just doing the same thing every single time, over and over again, to get these tiny little things that are worth like less than a cent or something. And it just, it wasn't fun. I wouldn't mind doing it if it was fun and I was getting the reward for fun, but the fun wasn't even there.
Yeah, so that's something I've actually enjoyed about Earth 2. Like, since we continually have more and more gameplay, we never know what gameplay is going to be coming. So it's always fresh. It's always exciting. There's always something new to look forward to. Well, like you say, like with Axie, it's just the same old.
Yeah, they do have a new one coming out, Axie Origins, and that does look a little bit better. It's kind of got like a story mode and stuff as well. But I still think it's just going to be kind of you go on and you do your battle and stuff. I don't think it's going to be kind of anything industry changing or anything like what Earth 2 has the potential to do. What about VV and stuff? Have you looked at VV at all?
So actually, I forgot about that. Yes, I do actually have 4 VV arts. I have one of the original Spider-Mans actually.
Okay, brilliant.
So that was actually a funny one. I bought it and I literally forgot about the app for about 8 months.
Okay.
And when I signed back in, the Spider-Man had gone up to like, I think $800 or $900.
Yeah.
And it was quite a shock. I was like, okay, maybe this thing's a little more legit than
Is it still at that, or is it crashed down now?
I bet it's down to about 200 now.
Okay.
But yeah. I have kind of hopes with that one too. I've been following Randy Chavez a lot about it. And just the economy of it seems like they're doing things with it. Like the actual coin, I think will do well. Especially they're starting some new processes, I guess, in the next month or two. So yeah, there's high hopes for that.
Yeah, I discovered it through Brandy as well, so I think we'll probably have the same journey on that. Yeah, I hold a few bits on that. I haven't bought any drops in quite a while now, but yeah, I've got a few bits on that. It's probably my second favorite after Earth 2. It's what I spend the second most time on, but it's mainly just because of the deals and stuff that they got. Like, they've got partnerships with Disney and Marvel and stuff. If you've got people in place that can do that, there's some potential for it to go somewhere just from those names, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I seen the brands that were involved, I mean, obviously they have some real clout.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they'll go places.
Yeah, but still, Earth 2 is our favorite.
By far.
Yeah. Right. So what's your end goal and overall aim for your Earth 2 portfolio?
So I've kind of had it in my mind from the get-go. I wanted to be basically self-sufficient financially within 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my goal with Earth 2, is to actually have a daily income. Right now in Jules, I make maybe $8 a day.
Okay.
My goal is to hit, I think $50 US is a livable wage for me. I can live pretty comfortably. So that's kind of my goal, is just setting up, getting things in place. I'm thinking like with Jules and resources. I think the big one for me is going to be resources and selling of resources. If I can get to that daily wage of $50, then I'm retired.
Yeah, I would do well with $50 as well. I certainly wouldn't complain about that. Are you doing well on resources so far? Have you had many of your plots come up with them?
So I got lucky. Before I got into Earth 2, I was actually a silver and gold investor. So I'd been researching silver and gold mines for the last 3 years prior to this.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a specialty. Like, it was almost, I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity because I already knew where a lot of these gold mines were.
Yeah. So you just went straight to them.
Yeah. So I think my first buys when Tier 2 released were 750s in gold mines.
Yeah.
So
is that all Tier 1s as well?
I do have some Tier 1s. I'd say maybe 1,000 tiles of Tier 1s that have resources.
Yeah. Oh, so mostly Tier 2s that you need to upgrade. Yeah, that's the same as mine, unfortunately. I wish I did have Tier 1 flexes, but no, unfortunately not. Oh, actually, no. I do have 2 oil ones. Yeah, I've got 2 oil ones that I managed to get in one of the country openings.
Well, it's funny, like I had one 750 Tier 1 from the United Arab Emirates, but it doesn't contain oil.
Well, remember, we've only got the most concentrated areas so far, so you might get it with one of the kind of smaller releases or something as well.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's going to work.
Crossed.
I wonder how it's going to work as well, to be honest. Like, you know, the higher concentrated ones, do you think we're just going to kind of get a higher daily output from that? Or what do you think will be the deal with that?
Yeah, I believe it's just going to be how much you can actually process. So it's like meters cubed, how much is actually produced. What I'm curious, I built so many hollow buildings. I'm curious that I might have actually overbuilt, I think, on a lot of my properties. So
what value have you put on them?
Let's see, probably I'd say maybe $2,000 in hollow buildings so far.
What's your average per property though? Like, what sort of sizes have you been doing?
So if it's tier 1, I was trying to go, let's say, at least 5 to 10 1,000 cubic meter buildings.
Okay.
I seen early on that buildings could have a maximum cap. So I was like, okay, I don't want to build too big in case I hit the maximum. So I'll build multiple smalls. And that's kind of been my play.
Oh, I kind of took it as per property rather than per building. You might have a good point there, though, actually. It's something I've never even considered.
Yeah, so I have a mental cap that I think buildings are going to top out at 1,000 meters cubed. Yeah. So I was building multiple 1,000 meter cube buildings just in case.
That's what I've done. All my flexes have got 1,000 meter cube, but I've also saw people saying that was the preliminary storage as well, rather than the maximum. So there's tons of different theories flying about now. But yeah, I haven't gone over $1. Well, maybe slightly over $1 on mine, but most of them are sitting about that for me, large plots and stuff. Fingers crossed that I'm not missing out on loads of. Well, fingers crossed none of us are missing out on loads of it.
It's kind of neat. So my two biggest ones, actually, I have my two biggest properties. I have, I think one has, I think 100,000 cubic meters worth of buildings on.
Okay.
And my second largest has like 80,000 cubic. So I might have went overboard.
Well, you might not have, though. You might be sitting on an absolute gold mine with that. You never know.
Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, we'll soon find. Well, hopefully soon find out. That actually covered my last question as well. I was going to ask what your opinion is on hollow buildings and if you've got them on all your properties. So that was the last question from me that we've just covered. And now on to community questions.
Okay.
The first one is from Yena. When the drone game starts within Earth 2, what rank do you expect?
I like to be hopeful. I think I'm going to be top 50. Yeah. Possibly I could hit top 25. When I'm playing in the game, I'm usually ranked about top 30 in the world, but I think there's some players that don't play on regularly on the main. They actually, so there's two modes. So you can go into, if you have the full game, you have the, we'll say drone editor, and there's a test flight mode within that drone editor that actually takes you to a secondary server that you can play against other players that aren't on the main list. So I find there's actually more talent if you go on the test flight than the main game. It seems the people that actually build the drones and want to spend time to actually build good drones seem to be the best flyers as well. So.
I suppose if you're going to put all that time and effort into it, you're going to be naturally better at it. Yeah, that makes sense. To be fair, though, we don't even know if the leaderboards and stuff are going to be the same. You could kind of rank for completely different things when the Earth 2 version and the remade version comes out.
Oh, I never thought of that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because it could be to do with defending properties and stuff. Well, actually, it might not be to defending properties, because if we're going to have a standalone version for the drone community and the Earth 2 version, that's the same. It mightn't have anything to do with our properties. Oh, God knows. Depends what they come out with the new version then.
Yeah, this is one of the things I'm most curious to see how they how they actually pull it out.
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll do.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, to be honest. Because it's been one of those things where they bought it and then they've literally gave us nothing after that. We've had no communication about drone at all, other than the fact that we've been told that there's going to be two versions coming out, one for the drone community, one for us. Yeah, we don't know any of the changes or anything. We don't have to scroll down too far. Hackmeister Games is next. He's got two questions. I'll do one at a time. Well, I think you've kind of already explained this one, because you did go over that you don't take money out of Earth 2 initially. And he's asking, how are you able to make that much money from Earth 2? I think he's asking that because I said that you're a full-time Earth 2 player.
Yeah, it's like, well, truthfully, I'm hoping by, I'll say New Year's this year, I'm hoping that I'll be at that $50 mark per day.
Yeah,
I think we're going to have our resources drop. I think drone gameplay should be live. this is one thing I was kind of thinking of. I think the next 6 months are going to be like an avalanche of updates. I have a feeling we're going to have more updates in the next 6 months than we'll say the previous 18. I think there's going to be just a swarm of things to do, and we're going to be almost like not sure what to do. There'll be so much to do.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. Once they've got the foundations in place, it's just going to be stuff flying out here, there, and everywhere, especially when the ecosim drops. But even apart from the ecosim, we've still got like the megacities index and all that sort of stuff to come as well. And now that we've got validation, they've said that's going to be, after it's been tested with this, there's going to be more things that are validated and stuff as well. So we're going to have the ecosim, we're going to have megacity indexes, and if we do get thrown and stuff as well, yeah, I think you're right. It is going to be an insane few months. Right, on to Hackmeister's second question. As this is I've read this one through a couple of times, and it kind of gets a bit dicey. So I'll try and read it as best I can. As Earth 2 is based on being a metaverse that will be using blockchain tech versus we have a crypto network we are building the metaverse on. I feel like the recent drops in the crypto market has not had that big effect on Earth 2 market. What are your thoughts?
So I know there's still users that can't cash out. So that kind of actually helps the platform. You can't get people running for the exits. At the same time, though, like I said before, I think Earth 2 is going to become a beacon. I think the worse that the crypto market the worse it does, I think the better we'll do, because we'll actually be almost like a rock. We'll be a foundation that people can actually turn to and be like, this crypto project is actually legit. It's like,
yeah,
I'm really hopeful. Yeah, I'm really, really hopeful.
Yeah, because we survived kind of the slump. But to be honest, I know he's saying we haven't really been affected. I have seen an effect on the market and stuff as well. Even the community, like all of it, has kind of dwindled off a bit. So I disagree with what he's saying there. Like obviously we haven't kind of been demolished like some other projects have, but it has definitely had an impact on Earth 2, I think.
Now, where do you think the crypto market's going? Like, do you think in the next 3 months we're still going down, or do you think we're going back?
I'm not really that into crypto, to be honest, mate. If I even speculated on this, it would be completely uneducated. Like it's not something I've ever really followed. Everything I know about crypto is stuff that I've learned from joining Earth 2, just from hearing other people speak and stuff. I didn't own any crypto at all until I was in Earth 2, and even now I don't really hold much at all, to be honest. But yeah, everything I know. Sorry, go on.
I think that's actually going to be a benefit of Earth 2 is we're going to be, I think, the project that gets people into crypto. Yeah. We're going to be the easiest step to get there. So I think even if Bitcoin and all these are crashing really hard, I think we still have a lot of potential to do well, just because we're setting up kind of like a new system, sort of. It's like, I hope that people have more faith, and kind of like the crypto space because of Earth 2. I hope we give people confidence in the space.
I think kind of the NFTs, even though they're not NFTs yet, of Earth 2 did so well because one kind of pay with cash and fiat and stuff as well. They made that as easy as possible, whereas other kind of NFT projects, that's not easy. So if they make the crypto side of it super easy as well, I agree with you there. It might be a good stepping stone for people who don't know about that world to get into it. Yeah, I think it could kind of bring a lot of people to the crypto world. Right, next we're on to Peck Holdens, and he's asking how much you've cashed out to date, and have you ever bowled a turkey?
Now, I've been trying to figure out what bowling a turkey. So if he's talking about bowling, like bowling with a ball and pins, then yes, I have bowled a turkey. So a turkey in bowling is where you get 3 strikes in a row.
Okay,
I'm assuming that's what he means. If not, I'm clueless.
I would imagine so. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing in bowling, but yeah, nothing came to my mind when I was reading that either.
What was the first part of his question, sorry?
How much have you cashed out to date?
Yes. So this is kind of funny. I've only cashed out $50 to date. Everything I sold, I actually haven't even sold that much. To date, I think I've only sold maybe 2 properties and 4 jewels, I think. Okay. My mindset was, since we're going to be holding for resources, my idea was to hold as long as possible. Yeah. When I seen, let me think, who was one that you interviewed where he only had $200 in, but then sitting
Miser.
#1 right now.
Yeah, he's the #1 ranked on the leaderboard. Yeah, it's
So I
insane
started
what he's
thinking,
done. Yeah.
when I seen his interview, I started wondering, like, he's not going to get any resources whatsoever, but it doesn't matter. It's like he's doing so well.
Oh, he will get resources.
Resources.
Miser's sitting on a lot of properties still now as well. He's not just kind of getting rid of everything that he's got. He holds like a big portfolio, and whenever he sells something, he gets something else in to replace that as well. So he has got a nice big stack of stuff there. So yeah, he gets money out, and he's got his big portfolio in there as well. But he's completely free riding, so it's amazing. Yeah, he might even end up with more than us, to be honest, because I know I can't remember what his portfolio size is, but I looked before and I'm sure it was bigger than mine, especially because he mostly deals in tier 1 as well. So even if his number of tiles are smaller, he's still like up there with all of that stuff. Right. Oh, this is one I just thought of. This question wasn't in. It's not from the community. What is your portfolio? Because seeing as you're a full-time Earth2 player and you want to get the $50 a year, what are you sitting on to hopefully get to that, just as a comparison for others?
So like, how much do I have into the platform, you mean?
Not money, just how many properties do you own? How many tiles do you own? How many jewels have you got? How much essence? Just anything you want to share about your portfolio.
Okay, so I think right now I'm sitting on just over 2,500 properties. I think 17,000 tiles.
Okay.
My big claim to fame right now is I have 50, I think just shy of 50,000 jewels, all said and done.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think when I actually go through and look at my purchases for jewels, I think I have 35,000 purchase jewels at the moment.
Have you slotted all your properties with T3?
Not T3. That'll honestly take me years.
Okay.
So even with buying as many jewels as I did, when tier 3 came along, I started converting a bunch of those tier 1s into T3s, and I quickly realized I do not have nearly enough jewels.
Yeah.
It's because all those singles, when I had 2,200 singles, that's 2,200 times
point,
5 slots.
Especially when the T1 as well. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah. So it would take me probably 2 or 3 more years to actually get enough jewels to actually go up T3 across the board. So what I did, I took all my T1 tiles and made sure they were fully slotted with T3s. And then tier 2s, any of the big properties, I tried to slot well, but all the other ones, I just put basic commons, tier 1s. It's the only way I could fill the slots.
Yeah, I haven't even finished mine yet. Like I've just T1s, and I still haven't even spawned enough jewels to slot all of my properties, because I never did a jewel farm or anything. I probably get about, I think I average probably about 16, 17 a day. And yeah, I still haven't even finished slotting them all. And I do eventually want to start changing over to tier 3s. But yeah, we'll see what happens. There might be different things come out in the meantime before I'm fully slotted. What about your essence and stuff? What are you sitting on for those?
So essence, this one's a hard pill to swallow. So I spent 80% of my essence upgrading jewels.
Okay.
And I'm still not sure if that's a good idea or not. That one could come back to haunt me someday. We'll see.
Did you get any brilliance out of the upgrades?
So I was able to get 2 brilliants. I have a brilliant Jamaica and a brilliant T3 black. I'm hoping those will be worth it. So even just monetary value, that's almost $5,000 right there. But since they're so rare, I mean, they must have something really special planned for these. I mean, the fact that we only have like 250 across the platform, maybe 300 at most, that they got to have something really special planned for these. So I'm hoping they'll
I'd agree. Like
eventually,
with the scarcity of brilliance, there does have to be something else there. The thing that kind of put me off going for the upgrade of a brilliant is I just kept thinking, what about when we get a new tier of jewels, and then those brilliants are going to not be the highest tier? So that was what stopped me from attempting to make one. I'm kind of glad it did, because it meant I got to keep my essence as well. But I guess I've potentially lost out on a few grand as well, because if I got a brilliant, I would have 100% sold it on the marketplace and bought land instead. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens to them.
I think it'll actually work out. It'll work out well for you though, because you now have essence to upgrade your tier 2s to tier 1s to get new jewels.
I don't have that much. I've only got like 15k, because all of my, like, although I've got quite a decent sized portfolio of properties, I've only got 5,000 tier 1, and they were mostly like in Belarus, which didn't have a particularly high tile value. So I've only got 15,000 total essence anyway. I mean, I know it's a lot more than some, but it's minute compared to a lot of people as well.
Well, you'll feel good in knowing that you have the exact same amount that I do.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think I made 80,000 in total, and I think I'm down to 15 now.
Oh Jesus! From 80,000, that is a big drop. That actually.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I'm
it might
hopeful
have been
that
worth it.
yeah, we'll see.
It is. It's all speculation for now. All we can do is kind of try our best with what we've heard on Discord and Twitter and release and stuff. Everybody's guessing. Some people it'll be our fault, others it won't. But fingers crossed, we'll all be early enough, and Earth2 will do well enough for us to all do well regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Where are we at? We've just done pet holdings, haven't we? Right. We've got one from Trav. What's your favourite place in Earth1 to explore, and your favourite place in Earth2 to explore?
Okay, so favorite in Earth1 actually is Toronto and Vancouver.
Okay.
I love those two cities. There's something about they're just so rich in culture, and the food is amazing. And yeah, I love visiting those two cities. That was pretty cool. As for an Earth2, lately I've been really liking it'd be Casey Peck's project, Cosmic Charlie's.
Yeah, looks amazing.
I just love the artwork. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But other than that, Shun City. I love visiting Shun City every once in a while. Having a good look. Yeah. So yeah, those are my two favorites, I'd say.
Yeah, I've got a plot in Cosmic Charlie's as well, right on the coast. Yeah, it's good.
Nice. My other favorite, this was an old school one you don't hear much about, Chad Vegas.
Yeah, that was before my time.
Yeah. So every once in a while I like to go through there just for old like reminiscing. It's kind of cool. I have a special plot in there. I don't think I can release the details today, but I have a special plot in there that I'm going to give to Chad eventually. Okay. And it's all I'm going to say is it's going to be great for a laugh. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that doesn't make me think of anything, to be honest. It's kind of baffled us more what you said. Okay, fair enough. When that does happen, send us a message and let us fill us in on what did happen.
Definitely.
Right. Next up we have one from Laro Tayo, and he's asking, are you related by any chance to Dora, and what have you discovered so far during your exploration period in Earth2 that you strongly feel might be of use or benefit to someone new in Earth2? Oh, there you go. You can see other stuff you were going to tell about Earth2.
Yep. Am I allowed to swear on this channel?
Yeah, go for it.
Fuck Dora. She's just a little backyard explorer. We got bigger words.
She got nothing on you.
Nothing on us. And what was the second part of the question? Sorry.
And what have you discovered so far during your exploration period that you strongly feel might be of benefit to someone new in Earth2? Basically, just Earth2 tips for newbies again.
Yeah. Try and find a spot that will hold as many people as possible. So some of my favorite plots would be like, I have a plot in Daytona Raceway.
Yeah.
I have a plot right beside the CN Tower. That's probably my number one plot, is the Steam Whistle Brewery.
Okay.
I've been there personally, and I see like tens of thousands of people walk through that area every single day. So the potential for advertisement is phenomenal. So try and think of areas that like thousands of people will actually visit and be there constantly. I think that's the best tip I could give. So
do you see the augmented reality being a big part of Earth2 then? Because it seems to be something they've been neglecting or not mentioning a lot lately.
Yeah, I think a lot of users are going to have to go the AR route, because I think in order for E2 to actually be mobile and actually like you could be walking and use it, yeah, I think you'll have to use the AR more than the VR. I think AR might actually be a stronger component than the VR. I think it'll be used more often.
That was my thoughts initially, but I don't know. They haven't mentioned it at all, basically, other than kind of when we had the questionnaire about the XYZ social media app. I think that's the only time any ER stuff has came up, but even that wasn't directly from Earth2. So I hope it is still as big as what I originally imagined, because it's kind of how it's completely behind the premise behind Shun City and stuff as well. But we'll see. I would love to see us like even collecting resources and bits of treasure and stuff from the maps. And because I remember in the my very early Earth2 days, there was some mention of collecting treasure on the map in real world locations, and that the landowners would get a share of what other people found on it. So I always had like a Pokemon Go in my head where we're walking around Earth 2 doing ER, collecting these resources and stuff, and then the landowner's getting a share to be able to sell on or use for building stuff as well. So I really do still hope we're going to get something like that, or that I haven't just completely made it up and lost the plot of what Earth 2 will be.
I think what they're doing, I think they're just waiting on the technology. My guess is they have the ideas and the thoughts and the dreams, but they need the technology to pull it off. And I think that's what they're waiting on.
I think the ER tech for that is there. They could very easily have something like that now, because when did Pokemon Go come out? That has to be at least 5 years ago.
Yeah.
True. So if they can do it, like we're gonna literally got our phones, we can definitely just go out and play on it there. I mean, obviously not for the big stuff, but we could certainly have the early part of it. And Shane's XYZ social media app already has ER stuff built in as well anyway.
Cool.
Right, sorry, I digressed again. We've done the Dora the Explorer, and this is the last question actually from Viking. If you could push any future E2 update out tomorrow, which would it be?
Raw materials sale, like selling of raw materials.
Yeah, so we'll need the gathering and stuff for that as well then.
Yeah, that's been my goal right from day one. So as soon as you can build hollow buildings, I essentially, that first week, I put hollows on all my tier 1s, all my big properties, and the hope, like, I want to be a resource crafter, like alongside jeweler, I want to be a resourcer, I guess. So that's that's the thing I'm really waiting for, is to see how much resources will be actually worth.
Yeah.
And how much I actually have. Yeah.
I guess that's all going to depend on the utility as well, to be fair, though. So you might want to get the Ego Sim out before you can start selling your resources. Otherwise, you might sell them all off before people have got a use case for them.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, well, you could probably get it all at once, though. I guess, and the probably will come about at the same time, won't they? Because we're going to need the resources for the Ego Sim, and we'll kind of need the Ego Sim for the resources. So it would kind of make sense to push everything like that at once.
Yeah. This is why I think in the next 6 months, I think it's going to be just update after update after update. Because I mean, all this stuff has to be live, I'm assuming, by the end of the year. So.
Yeah. Well, if they meet the deadlines. Yeah, we'll see. Sorry, somebody's busy phoning this, so it's just distracted. I'll ignore it though. I'll phone them back after we're done. But that was the last question anyway. Is there anything you want to talk about or anything you want to add to this?
Oh, 1 second. My speakers just died. Okay.
You okay? Can you hear?
Okay, I think I got it.
Can you hear?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, my Bluetooth earphones just died.
Right, so I was just saying that's all of the Q&A questions done. Is there any points you want to discuss or anything that you want to add?
Sure, actually, I had a couple. Here's one. What do you think would be the best thing to invest in at the moment?
Are you asking me questions now? That's not how this works.
You can't let you have all the fun now.
Best thing to invest in now. If I wasn't fully working on Shun City, because that's basically where 99.99% of all the funds are put in Earth. Well, I don't really put money in Earth 2 anymore, but what 90% of my portfolio goes to now. I would just be buying tier 1 off the marketplace, the most discounted ones with the most essence, because I think you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. You'll probably have the best chance of resale on those, the best chance of the price growing once we get the T2 to T1 upgrades unlocked, and then you're going to start draining essence as well. I think it's kind of the safest bet. Yeah.
So I've been hunting a lot on the marketplace, and so my favorite place has actually been Canada to buy. But I'd suggest for users, if you're willing to spend $100 or more, you can easily find properties for basically 4 essence for every dollar you spend.
Yeah.
That's what I've been trying to find, is basically 3x or 4x's essence to dollars. So lately I've been buying $100 properties that probably promise maybe 300 or 400 essence for that $100. I think that's like the best bang for buck. That's the best way of getting tier 1s.
Yeah. So we're both pretty much on the same page with that one then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I had a couple other ones.
I was curious.
What are your tattoos?
My tattoos.
Yeah.
I've got loads of stuff.
So they're all different, eh?
Yeah. this one, sorry, no, this one is a sleeve that was designed for us by one of my friends, and it's got dragons and castles and skeletons battling and stuff. I used to be a bit of a goth back in the day, so it's basically just what's left from that. And this one was just made up of loads of random crap that I liked. There's even, do you guys have Where's Wally over there?
Yeah.
There's even a Where's Wally hidden in one of my sleeves as well. So I've had a few people trying to find him over the years.
Cool.
I've got wings down my full back as well, but I'm not taking my top off. Yeah, that's it.
I got wings actually. I can do wings on the chest.
Wings on the chest. That's pretty cool. Actually, I like that. It looks like reminds us of the. Do you know the band Him? Kind of looks a little bit like their logo. Yeah,
that's great. And other than that, I have it looks like a branding on the back of my calf that says "Made in Canada."
Okay.
Looks like they're branded. it's a tattoo though. No worries.
Yeah. There's one of my friends. He was from South Africa. Actually, got not a branding, but there was like a hot wire that you could get kind of. I can't remember what it's called. Something vacation or something, but basically he got, instead of tattooed, he got a tattoo burnt into him.
Well, that'd be fun.
It was something they did. I'm sure it was illegal, but there was one of the tattoo shops in Newcastle next to where I'm from that used to do it on the sly. And they encourage you to pick the scabs off so that it scars more, so that it stands out more as well. But no, that's not something I've got done. It was just one of my mates.
I don't think I could do it.
Is there anything else on there?
So there's only one more. This is one for both of us. What would our E2 retirement look like?
I would kind of like to get to a point of where I could still work within it and it doesn't feel like work. That you just kind of do your daily things, but it's things that you're enjoying.
Yeah. And you're just naturally enjoying life and you just get paid for it.
That's exactly it. Like you just sitting on your portfolio, your property mogul within the metaverse. Just sit back, chilling, walk into your club that you've got and stuff as well. Obviously, this is all in a dream world. It's only if Earth 2 does amazing, but I don't think either of us would be here if we didn't think Earth 2 was going to do amazing. What about yourself? Your ideal retirement?
My ideal retirement is pretty similar. I just like to be able to do things I love when I want to do them. It's like I hope this gives us the opportunity to achieve any dream that we can dream up. Like I'd love to actually start like an E2 shop in Canada, kind of like what they did in where is it, Korea? Yeah,
the Korea one. Yeah, the stuff. I'm still not even sure what the use for that is. I don't know if they're going to kind of just use it to recruit people for their guild. I saw that they were kind of promoting their referral code within the store as well, but I don't think that's going to get them enough income to be running an actual shop and stuff like that as well.
Maybe not first year, but if you start thinking 2-3 years down the road, maybe.
You must have a lot of money in your pocket to be able to kind of wait 2-3 years while you've got a shop and stuff as well. Because it's in one of the most expensive areas of Seoul as well. That's what one of the Korean users was telling us. Yeah, where even like the rents to live there and stuff are like astronomical. Yeah, it's in one of the most trendy hip streets and stuff like that as well. I think it was that was telling us that. It might have been. I can't remember exactly who it was, but yeah, one of the Korean users was saying it was expensive.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you could think of off the top of your head?
No, I've kind of blurted all mine out as we've been going, to be honest, mate. Yeah, I'm good on my side. Have you got anything else there you want to go through?
No, I think that pretty well covers it. Okay, I have one last one. Where do you see Shun City in 3 years?
Shun City in 3 years. 3 years is quite a long time. I would love it to just be basically at that. Well, actually, no, it might not be quite long enough for VR. Maybe it's early days of VR. I'll go with the Ego Sim route because I don't think we'll be quite there with VR yet. I would love it to be one of the kind of trade capitals of Earth 2 where people are coming to kind of trade, basically. One of the hubs will come in as one of the places we go to shift our goods or buy a new vehicle and do trade with our guild and stuff like that. Yeah, I would just love it to be a standout part of Earth 2.
Yeah. I think it's on its way. I think you're going to do very well with it. I think it'll do very good.
Brilliant, thank you. Because a lot of bloody work has went into
it. Yeah, I hope it's worthwhile. Good.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Right, so that's all for me. That was the last one from you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for being my guest, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it's been great to talk to you. I was really excited to finally get to meet you.
And to all of you still with us, thank you very much. Have an amazing day. Peace out.
Peace.